Right, guys, sorry, it's just a lot of hassle to get the schedule sorted, and it's my mistake. I'm sorry. I should have been here on the stream like 2 hours ago. Just things got complicated. Very unprofessional, I know, but I'll make it up to you guys by basically talking about really cool stuff with the simple volumes composition. So what is this simple volumes composition? It's the first composition you need to do in order to get good at architectural composition. Why do you need to know this? Basically, it will improve everything. It will make all your sketches look architectural. It will make all your buildings have that creative edge about them. Okay, so you end up with stuff that just looks architectural and you don't even know why, because you understand architectural composition. That's the bottom line. It's always going to be relevant, so that's why you really need to know this stuff. Quick recap, hope you can hear me. Right, so what are the 5 principles behind an architectural composition? So vertical dominant at the third. Right. Christmas tree. So the way the objects are arranged around the vertical dominant. Foreground. Right, so this would be number 1, number 2, number 3. Foreground, which makes the basically the composition have spatial depth. Horizontal dominant, number 4. So something that basically gets you to mark another axis of space. So we already are marking the vertical axis, you know, the axonometric. 1 second, X. I need to really improve the streaming experience. Like I can tell you guys are hearing clicks and stuff. Let me just double check that the sound is okay. Is the sound okay? Should be okay, should be perfect. Right. So you're marking 2 axes with this horizontal dominant, and then the curvature, right? Number 5, the transition between the foreground and the Christmas tree. Okay, you have this, you have a composition. You don't have this, you just got stuff, and this again will cause a lot of trouble with your drawings. Okay, you want them to look the part. Okay. So let's have a look. I've got just 3 drawings lined up for you, beginner drawings. And it's always a challenge. What can you do? You need to start somewhere, and the best way to do things with architectural drawing is to just get on with them and you know, problem solve as you navigate the drawing. Because you'll always navigate designs, drawings. You'll never be you'll never be at the stage where you just have an idea and that's it. No, you need to constantly adapt and change, which might be bad for some people, but trust me, it's the best thing possible. Okay, so let's have a look at perspective here. So there's a problem with the perspective. The horizon lines here. Then I recommend you always construct the back edges. Right? If you construct the back edges and use this perspective point over here, you'll notice that there's a perspective mistake. It should be going down like this. Okay. These inclined lines should go to a perspective point somewhere off the page. Then the tiling doesn't go to the accurate perspective points. Right? What does that mean? That just means we need to correct them. A good way of checking if there's perspective mistakes in your drawing is to flip it 180 degrees. Right? So if you do this, you'll see all those perspective mistakes. They'll be more obvious. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, so we got this. Very good, very good. Let's add the part here. The foreground needs to be larger, so this volume, there's a couple of rules of perspective that if you get, everything will be good. Foreground needs to be larger. This object here needs to really jump off the page, right? the only way to get there is to basically exaggerate it a bit, okay? And the sphere is here. This cone, you see the way it's positioned right now, it's kind of jumping off of the Christmas tree. And let's just say, as a thought experiment, we would draw it, you know, a bit like that. Well, you'll see that it kind of looks better, and if you make the vertical dominant a bit higher, a bit taller, you will get more of the composition effect. And this is going to look better, and you won't even know why, right? Just because you applied composition principles, right? Let's see. If there's any questions, aren't any questions, then that's fine. You know, it's my bad again. Right. So let's go for the same principles on this other perspective. This is close to a 1-point perspective, right? And let's add all this stuff that goes radially like this. And you know what? Because of the horizon line being really high up, you get the perspective being something like this. Okay? Tiling. Again, a border around your page. Okay? And obviously there's a lot of moving parts, and what I want you to get is that you can't really understand this. Well, just a lot of stupid stuff, sorry. In the first attempt, you can't get it 100% right, so you'll get it at a level, and we will progressively improve it, okay? The car shadows for these spheres are going to be ellipses, horizontal ellipses, right? I would make the cone still a bit flatter, okay? Flat Earth theory. Okay, very good, very good. Now we need to move fast. So we corrected this stuff. Now we've got a correct perspective. Quick recap. How do you construct a horizontal ellipse? Rectangle. Diagonals. And let's start adding these edges here. Right? And the theory goes that the closer it is to, just close this, the closer it is to the horizon line, the flatter it gets, and the further away from the horizon line it is, the more it opens up, until you end up with a circle. Okay? Hopefully this makes 100% sense. So this here would be a really flat ellipse. Let me just go for green. 1 second. I'm an expert at drawing with my mouse. Right? You should be a bit more open. It's really far away. This thing here is interesting. This is a inclined ellipse. It's a custom ellipse. You draw it by basically drawing all the elements, and then you connect everything up. Okay? So you see, these beginner compositions are kind of the same mistakes. What can you do? You can't do too much. You have to tank it. You know, you have to go through the assignment, knowing that you will mess up, right? And then you know, apply the feedback. And that's how you get good at this, right? I would go for a lower horizontal dominant. See, for the Christmas tree, you need to have like a cone, kind of here. The foreground, you see this part here, it's kind of missing something dark side, right? So you need to add, I would add the foreground here, a bit closer in front, okay? And then don't forget, the tiling doesn't go all the way to the horizon line, it stops just before the horizon line. And you use the background to basically make everything stand out, you know? So you know where the tiling stops. There's going to be perspective mistakes here. This line here is off. I'd actually encourage you to have like a longer prism. Why? Creates more dynamism, right? Okay, always construct the ellipses. And in fairness, this will be a really short stream, but I think you will get a lot of stuff out of it. Okay? This would be a better composition if you apply the feedback here. Let's say this is your drawing, right? You apply you see the feedback. You go like, I don't want to do this, but then you go, okay, fair enough, I'll do it. Let's apply the feedback, and after that, you just go and basically do the stuff. And you see that your drawing looks spatial. It looks like it's exactly what it needs to be. Okay? And this drawing here, the problem is there's no construction lines. Lack of construction lines will cause trouble. So the back edges always need to be there. Very good. Alright. Let's construct this ellipse here. Let's construct the top ellipse. If there's any questions, stuff like this is going to definitely help you. If there's any questions, this could be flatter, just let me know. Right? And I want you to go and apply the stuff here, right? Again, same problem. For this vertical dominant, this could be a longer volume, it's fine. The cone though is to be smaller and set in. Okay? So it kind of blends into the composition. These are two volumes that compete for the same space, the same gap in your composition. I would encourage you to move the sphere further up to put this pyramid here, right? And this will get you something that feels better. Right, even if ideally you overlap this pyramid here a bit. Okay. And for the tiling, of course, the tiling needs to match the perspective points. You just create this nice effect of order. You do that. Okay. Same goes for this bad boy here. Don't forget this trick, because it's a trick. The tiling needs to stop before you get to the horizon line, and the background can be this swoosh type effect, this Nike swoosh that goes swoosh and it just fills everything up, right? Okay, let's see, horizon line at the top. Okay, background border at 1 centimeter from the page. You really want that, okay? And it's basically how we get a volume looking, a composition looking properly. Obviously, this is the same composition but rotated. You messed around with the objects a bit. You can put the sphere closer to this position. The pyramid here, you can place it on its base. Okay, something like this. Okay, with a little cone here. Obviously, you can go all in with the construction lines. You should do that. That's how it goes. If the horizon line is somewhere here, then this is very flat. Probably is somewhere there. Right, so these are a couple of ideas how to manage the composition, and you'll see that you'll just get better and better and better and better and better and better. It's just how it works, right? You can't fake the level you're at. I learned this the hard way, I've got gaps in my skill set, but I'm, sorting them out one by one, right? That's the only way you can progress at drawing, at architecture. Accept the objective reality, like you're not good enough at this, you're good enough at other things, but you don't have this skill. So in order to get that skill, you need to do what you need to do. Okay? Right. Right, so this is just scratching the surface of composition. Obviously you can add a layer of concept to this. You could say that this is just wood and metal. This is just a very rough concept. It's not that sublime. It could work. Go like wood this way, metal this way, right? More wood in the foreground. You could just make this short, as I said before. More metal here. I recommend you add metal to the curved volumes, as these will get you the best results. Okay? The metal distortions of stainless steel. Right? You add materials on top of this, then you can add a more subtle concept. You could say this is light versus heavy. So I don't know, you make this out of stone. Right, you make this out of glass, and you can actually see through transparency where the stone fits in. You see all these other faces and stuff. Right. Again, this could be out of a stone of some sort, and you see it going through our little glass bit. Okay, and you keep adding stuff like this, like exaggerating volumetric intersections, adding more contrast, adding transparency. That's how you build a narrative. Obviously, concept work is a whole different thing. We've got a different assignment for that, which we'll look at later. Okay, but for now, this is good. Right. So if you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, draw nicely, and questions in the comments box, please. Take care.